All right, guys, it's time for the updated tier list on All-Star Tower Defense. We got all of the new units. And of course, guys, we have the other guy, which I just showcased. So let's get it popping. We'll showcase each of the new units, and then we will rank them all on the tier list. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to be reading your comments so we can improve the tier list and make it the best one ever. All right, if you guys don't know, this is kind of a general tier list. So it's based on how good they are for infinite mode, raid modes, etc. All right. And I'll explain each of the placements as I put them on. Here we go. All right, so let's start off with probably one of my favorite units in the update. We got Note or the Fear. Yes, guys, this guy is an absolute freaking beast. Look at this. Oh my goodness gracious. So the thing about this unit is it has Fear, and it only costs 500 bucks. So you are getting that brand new status effect for only 500 with full AoE and a 9 SPA, which isn't great, but it also is air. That means it's kind of like hybrid off the rip. Now, Fear is a pretty nice status effect. I'm not gonna lie, very good status effect. Highly recommended. Basically what it does is it makes the rewind better, and it also makes the enemies take 10% more damage. So very useful ability. Oh, there's a little fear. It says Fear. That's actually pretty cool. And then we have a couple of attacks and abilities, etc. And what's nice about this unit is it's full AoE, 90 range, 8 SPA, and it has this ability as well. So let me get that ability off real quick once I upgrade the HP a little bit. So somebody in my DM said it does 25% damage. I thought it just bleeds. So let's go spawn in a bunch of enemies. And I'm going to turn off the game speed, and we'll try out this ability to see exactly what it does. All right, yeah, so it does add bleed. And it looks like the bleed isn't super OP, but it does bleed. And then I guess you guys probably want to see the max stats. So max stats, we got 4.15. So okay, max stats. Not really a damaging unit, but she's basically Idol's ability, but permanent. Now, it isn't permanent. You have to restack it, but since she's full AoE, it's pretty easy to do so. So because, I guess it's a he. Because of that ability, that does put him in the meta. All right, now I will say for this S tier of supports, they are, I will say, actually, I got to move Boo down. I'm going to move Boo down. Actually, I have to keep, Boo's pretty good still. All right, not in order. All right, this tier is not in order. And S tier, I will say, is loose, not really in order either. All right, because S tier, not in order. Actually, they're not in order because of all their different special effects and use cases. So it's kind of really hard to put them in order. So don't care too much about the order, care about where they are on the tier list. All right, next up we have Kite. Kite is like an RNG unit. So basically how Kite works is it rolls a random number, and that's what multiplies the damage. So if you roll a 1, it's only doing 1x 28, which is really bad. But if you do something else, it's even more. But then you have to also switch to Reaper, etc. So basically, if you get a good enough roll, you can get a pretty decent Reaper roll. All right, so it's actually not that bad. And then Hammer for full AoE damage, and then Marksman for like bigger range. So not bad at all, but definitely not super high damage. Even with the buff, you're not really looking at a good amount of damage. It is level 1 though, so it's actually not terrible. I'd say it's okay DPS, but mainly for raid mode because of the price. So overall, I'm gonna have to give Kite the A tier. Basically, Kite is good for raids, but not really good for much else. All right, and remember that do not worry too much about the order. All right, next up we got Natsu, the new best burn unit in the game. All right, the burn is absolutely insane. So we have the raid mode burn right here with Awaken Now, and then Rainbow Surge. Actually, this is the raid mode burn right here, guys, plus Rainbow Surge. Insane burn damage, but it is a unique unit, so remember it is affected by the DOT nerf. And then if you max him out, 54.3, and then you can put the buff on him as well. And then he's doing some absolutely insane damage. So let me get this buff popping off real quick. Bang, holy selection with the buff, 217 million burn. Yeah, let's just say this guy is absolutely shredding the enemies. Now, unfortunately, we might die and I might have to redo this, but what is all good. So let me just move this guy right here, and we're gonna just clear out the enemies. All right, let's give this a second. All right, so personally, I think Natsu is up here as one of the best burn units in the game. So easily S tier. Easily S tier, probably right about here. I don't know why this guy's in the S tier. He should be an S tier support. So I'm gonna move him back down to there. And Guts is still pretty good, but it's a pretty close one between Guts or him. And again, the order doesn't really super matter that much. He is basically like the go-to burn unit now, especially considering he's just a straight up banner unit like Rengoku. He's basically as good as Yamamoto. And he hits airs as well. So he's basically just busted OP. And I don't know how we just... Oh, I forgot to keep the buff going. So that's unfortunate. I'll be right back. All right, here we go. Let's get back into it. So next up, we have the new unit. Retsu Onahana. It's kind of hard for me to pronounce. But yeah, she's actually unsellable. So here we go. Her raid mode stats are not great. But you can kind of tell she does have some decent crazy range. I guess this could be considered a raid mode upgrade as well. It does leave a little bit to be desired for raid mode, but it's not terrible. Now, again, this is level 1, so I guess at max level, 10 million DPS for raid is actually pretty good. But she's not like bleed or anything. She does have a cool blessing, and then she does have some more upgrades as well. Hybrid. And then you need the orb, though, for her to get her actual effects. But it does still show the effect. So she's basically a full AoE beast. I still got to go grind for the orb. I might do a live stream about it. Apparently, they made the raid even harder because they like got rid of Irwin. But she has some pretty good stats when you max her out. Apparently, she does over 2 billion damage or something crazy. So let's go rank her real quick. She pretty much has probably the highest damage in the game. So I'm going to put her in the S tier. She is kind of hard to use, though, because you got to use Mojito, etc. But she does technically do the most damage in the game. She's also global unique, so only one player can bring her. And she does require you to bring the Path 6-star, the Path 7-star, and Mojito or Boo. Or 2 paths and a Boo. Basically, she requires a lot of setup. But when you do, she is actually OP. So not a bad unit at all. And then next up, we have Nanami. Nanami has this nice crit and rage. So he actually has some pretty decent stats. Now for raid mode, his stats are okay. All right, 505. But I think he still has crit here. So let me get the buff popping off again. Here we go. So raid mode stats, 2 million for 4. Not bad for raid mode with full AoE. And I think still crit. I'm not sure, though. It doesn't really tell you which of his upgrades has crit, but I'm assuming it's all of them. And then here, he has crit plus rage. So honestly, they're both very, very good DPSs. And personally, I'm going to put them in the low S tier. Very, very good units. All right. And then next up, we have Flare Lord. You guys can watch my last video on him. Flare Lord is a great unit, but he's a time stopper. I'm going to put him in S tier. Basically, he's like a budget Gojo if you can't get Gojo. So he's not a bad unit at all. And then next up, we have some buffs, guys. So basically, all of these units got buffs. So we got to rank them now. Yoshikage Kiryu, I'm still leaving him in the S tier for support. Again, this is not in order because all these units are great and they all do their own special things. But they basically gave this guy a really nice damage buff. And he actually is very good for raids now. So check him out in raids if you need the fire element. All right, next up, Diavola. I'm going to re-put him back into the S tier for support because he's still technically gauntlet mode meta. And he's the only one that has his effect. But he's barely meta, like barely meta. And then we have Dark. Dark got a very nice Black Flames buff. He is now the best Black Flames unit in the game. So I'm going to put him at the top of A+ tier after the buff. Right here with Yamamoto. Honestly, Yamamoto might actually move into the S tier now. It's pretty close, but I'm going to put Natsu in the S tier because he's actually attainable. All right. And then next up, we have Ichigo after his buff. He's very good, guys. However, he only hits air mode unit. So I'm going to put him in the S tier, but remember, he's only good for air infinite mode. So that kind of, you know, it's not in order. I'm dead. It says snot. I'm so dead. I'm so dead. And then we got these two units also got nice buffs as well, but they're still technically support units. But I will say Tatsumaki got a really nice damage buff. So if you're not using Wax Low, then definitely go for it. All right, now let's go over to the comments of my last tier list video and let's go see what you guys want me to change in the tier list. Well, this didn't age well. Amelia is one of the best raid unit now. Yeah, let's just say she just got nerfed. Ain't no way Bland put Goku and Gilgamesh 7-star higher than Madara 7-star. Again, it's not really particularly in order, mainly because you should bring all of them. But you know what? I will give credit where credit's due. I think Madara is used more, so I will move Madara higher. What's going on with Anime Switch? Honestly, I don't know. I'm trying to talk to the owner, but I think he's still working on the update, so hopefully soon. Bro, why is Guts up there? Because he got buffed. Where is Gilgamesh? In basically first place. Crazy how Toji is way better than Sid and he's only A tier. I think Sid has a better nuke, but you do strike a good point. I do think he needs to move up after his buff. So let me find him. Wait, that's Worm G. Let me find him real quick. And yeah, I will move him up Wait, he's with Zoro. Hey, I don't really like Zoro that much. You know what? I'm gonna move both of these up to the A tier, and I'm going to move both of the Sids to the A tier. So I'll put them in A plus. You know what? That is a good call, bro. There is no way you put Osamu into S support. Oh, this guy right here. Yeah, I think this guy's just tripping. He definitely deserves to be there. How is Vegeta S tier? I think he missed his buff. Everybody didn't see the buffs, I guess. I disagree. Please point to some actual examples, because so far there hasn't really been much in the comments. Baby Vegu at S, he did get buffed. All right, so there we go, guys. I don't really think there's anybody had any actual comments on the tier list. So if you have any real comments, please let me know. There was a few good ones in there, but not really that much going on. So if you want to complain about the tier list, tell me what to fix, and I'll fix it. But so far, it seems pretty accurate. There's not really anybody with any real, like, fleshed out complaints. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.